Steak, steak, steak. Oh my God, this steak. Have you ever heard someone describe a food by saying it melts in your mouth? Well, I've never really understood that description before, but that all changed after I ate this dry-aged ribeye steak. Hold on, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I think I need to set the scene a bit, as although the steak was amazing, the journey to get to the steak needs to be told. Let me take you back to Thursday. Dinner reservations for 5:45 p.m. at Jules Bistro. To get there, I decide to drive. There is no dedicated parking at Jules Bistro, but there is plenty of street parking. I park my car and walk towards the restaurant. The first thing I see are some small two-seater tables right outside the restaurant. I'm thinking, who would want to eat out here? You'll have people walking by, there's a car parked right beside one of the tables. It's an odd setup. Fortunately, I made a reservation for an inside table. Once I stepped inside Jules Bistro, I immediately thought, this is more my style. Right at the entrance on the right side is the open kitchen. Although the kitchen is open, the seating is at the back of the restaurant, so you don't overlook the kitchen when you're eating. I got to my table and really began to take in my surroundings. Jules Bistro is a French restaurant, but not a stuffy, fine dining French restaurant. I would describe it as a country, small-town French restaurant. Lighting is on the darker side, and there is a lot of wood used. Great place for a romantic dinner for two. The walls of the restaurant are covered with chalkboards. Written on these chalkboards are wines, cocktails, appetizers, specials, and the price fix menu. I'll come back to the price fix menu, but first it's time for a cocktail. Although I'm sure they could have made any cocktail, I wanted something unique to Jules Bistro, so I ordered a la Medina. This had rum, Saint-Germain, pineapple juice, and lime. It was very tasty. Back to the price fix menu. I knew ahead of time what I wanted to order as I checked Jules Bistro website. But when I saw the price fix menu contained exactly what I wanted to order, it made more sense to go with it. I also saw on their menu steak tartare, which is something I've never had but always wanted to try, so I ordered it as a second appetizer. As I had polished off my La Medina, and because I was driving, I asked the waiter what types of mocktails they had. He said they could make a pineapple juice and mango juice, so I ordered one of those. This was refreshing and had a sprig of rosemary in it, which gave it some flair. Once the appetizers arrived, I dove in. The first appetizer was escargot, served with a small salad and toasted bread. Let me tell you about this bread. It was so hard. Basically, it was a crouton. I'm not a fan of bread this toasted. As for the escargot, it was unlike anything I've ever had before. Every time I have eaten escargot, it is prepared with garlic and butter. This escargot was prepared in a cream sauce with mushrooms. Although very tasty, I found the mushrooms so overpowering, the escargot was lost in the dish. My second appetizer was steak tartare, served with a small salad and the dreaded toasted bread. This bread can cut you if you're not careful. This is my first time trying steak tartare, but I've had something similar at a Japanese restaurant. I expected a beef flavor, but found that the oil used overpowered the beef, so this was not the hit I wanted it to be. With both appetizers finished, it was time for the main course, Côte de Boeuf. Oh my God, this steak. This is a dry-aged ribeye steak served with a salad, ratatouille, and underneath the steak were French fries. The ratatouille was an unexpected surprise, as I really like ratatouille, and this ratatouille was very delicious. The French fries under the steak were crispy and seasoned perfectly. Best French fries I have ever had. How do I describe this steak? The only word is perfection. Seriously, I've never had a steak so perfectly cooked, medium rare, so perfectly seasoned, so flavorful, so tender, it didn't need to be cut with a knife. Honestly, I couldn't imagine a better steak. I devoured it. By this point, I was full and floating in the clouds, but there was always room for dessert. Out comes a creme brulee and a chocolate mousse. The chocolate mousse was very tasty, a straightforward chocolate, but what I appreciated was the cream on top was either sweetened or had a little bit of vanilla in it, which took this dessert up a level. As for the creme brulee, it was equally delicious, but I will say the caramel on top was very thick. Not an issue for me, but I was surprised, as usually the caramel is very thin. That meal, that experience is complete. But as I sit here talking about it, I'm thinking, when can I go back to Jules Bistro? If you have the pleasure of dining at Jules Bistro, order the Côte de Boeuf. You will not be disappointed. You can thank me by clicking the subscribe button.